Hello, in this video we are looking at making a will. Making a will is one of the most important things that you can do. Each year, 1 in 3 people die without writing a will to protect their assets for their families. This can make what is already a difficult and distressing time complicated and even more unpleasant, as no set directive is in place to indicate who gets what. Although it's often difficult or unpleasant to consider death, it's very important to make a will, even if you consider yourself to be young and in good health. This way you know that your family are protected and your assets will be distributed in line with your personal wishes. Over 70% of people in the UK below the age of 64 have not yet drawn up their last will and testament. A greater number of over 65s possess a will, but still, over 40% haven't yet obtained one. Some people don't feel they have enough to leave, others prefer not to contemplate the future. Research from Royal London in 2018 shows that 59% of people don't have a will or have one that is out of date. Another way to look at it is to say over 30 million people in the UK do not have a will. Many believe that it will be easily sorted out after their death. However, this is often not the case. But in fact, neglecting to draw up a will, it can have devastating consequences for your bereaved family, who may even have to apply to the court to gain access to your money to pay for funeral costs, mortgages, and other important expenses. You can also choose to make a joint will. This is where you create your will as a couple, usually as husband and wife, although this is not mandatory. The cost of making a will as a couple is slightly higher than the cost of a single will. A joint will normally require the support of a will-writing professional or solicitor, as these are often more complex than a single will. Increasingly, many people are now looking to make a will online. This is because if you are writing a simple will, then this can be the cheapest and most cost-effective way of making your will. Typically, will prices start around £30 to create your will. However, you will then either need to store the will yourself or pay an additional amount to have it put in safe storage. But whilst it's more cost-effective to take care of writing a simple will yourself, there are some drawbacks. Instead of deciding definitively not to enlist professional help, you should carefully consider how you'll undertake this important task. Before asking how do I make a will online, think about why you are making a will in the first place. Do you want to protect your assets for family and friends? Is this important for future generations of your family? Are there relatives who you don't want to benefit from your will? Perhaps you are concerned about inheritance tax. Remember that if the will is ineffective, the consequences for your family could be very difficult, and your wishes may not be respected. You should also remember that you should probably only make a will online yourself if your wishes are very simple and basic. When writing your will, you will need to do the following. Firstly, write a detailed plan setting out who gets what. You should, of course, consider who you want to benefit from your will financially, but there are other aspects to a will. Secondly, appoint an executor. This is the person who will carry out your wishes following your death. You need to set out who will take care of children under 18, as well as set out what happens if your beneficiaries die before you do. And lastly, the witness. However, the witness cannot be a beneficiary of the will. They must be independent. That is the end of this video, but if you would like to read more, you can do so on the Help and Advice website.